Ready to go? I think we are. Are we ready to go? We're rocking and rolling. And so I got to start with two of my favorite Bill Hicks quotes. Um, I only deal in facts. That's why I'm a cocky fucking bastard. Um, and I'm here to sing some songs for my mama. There'll be more, I swear. And here's one of mine, inspired by Bill recently. Sometimes I look around this beautiful world and think I really, really need a flamethrower like Rick Dalton's to take out the trash.
Well, hello, boys and girls.
Hi.
What a wonderful day it is today in our money-based economy. Well, sit back and relax and get ready for the guy who's about to ruin everything.
I'm puzzled. Are you really seriously suggesting that Jesus Christ was a mushroom?
Wait, Jesus was a mushroom Roberts.
Yes. You are dealing with a secret cult, a secret society.
Welcome to Waning Interest.
Welcome to the Waning Interest podcast, number 115, May 26th, 2023, but it'll come out 27th, because it's how we do things here, you know, the babbling dabbler, the smallest click on the internet, the pinball brain in your favorite machine, Terminator 2, early 90s, my favorite. It's like a diary or a book, but not as stale or coherent from a more mentally challenged Forrest Gump. Chocolates. Or if Mikey and Mouth from the Goonies played a lot of bareback leapfrog, and then 3.5 months later, thought it was 5 earlier. I think I said 5 in the last podcast. But it was actually 3.5. I looked up the records just to make sure, because I didn't want to get that wrong. My gestation period wasn't 5 months, just to get it right. It was 3.5. So, there. Oh, wait, shoot. Got to go back to the other page and got to put up, got to get things ready. Because I got to flip back and forth. So then, but I also have to let the music fade before I can flip. And I'm still reading like an idiot and thinking, why do I need? I repeat, that's the same shit I say every time. Why do you have to have it in your face? Why do you have to have it on a different thing? And so but most of y'all whips like it audio only. I don't know why. I'm kind of cute, but you do, and I appreciate that. So that kind of shit doesn't even matter to you, which is awesome. But I love you so much, I explain it. So there we go again. All right, is that fixed? Oh, now get rid of that. Remove from studio, because you don't want that shit no more. Oh, I'm just still sharing, because I'm a sharer. Obviously, tonight's going to be all about Mr. Hicks, my Obi-Wan Kenobi. Because I said that. Sorry for you listener onlys. Got to put up this picture that I created a few years ago, where it's a picture of Carlin and it says Yoda, and then Hicks, it says Obi-Wan Kenobi, and then a picture of Doug Stanhope says Luke Skywalker. But then Rian Johnson went and fucked that up, because Stanhope's still alive, and obviously Skywalker is he disappeared and left his fucking cloak. Some weird shit the Jedis do. They decompose really fast. Odd. Eerie almost. One of my old favorites. Odd. And whenever anybody would say odd, I just go, eerie almost. It's a thing me and my friend Eric had, which has to do with, didn't mean to even bring that up, synchronicities. Eric is one of my helpers into being a disciple. No, Padawan. Duh. keeping the Star Wars thing, you idiot, being a Padawan in a way of Hicks. And of course the other two, but Hicks is the one that's really really hit me hard. And Stanhope as well. I've read part of, was it Digging Up Mother, or was it his other book, which I can't think of the title now, that I read on one of the whips, 80 something, I think it was, maybe early 90s. I don't know. Funny shit. I think there's a clip of it too. But Eric, yeah, he was part of the introduction. The true introduction, though, was I don't think I saw the Rodney Dangerfield thing. I think it was after I moved to Florida, because I never had cable when I lived in Maine. When I was growing up, we didn't have cable. They decided to get a dish after I left. Got even more channels, fuckers. Disrespect all around, always. Let's go back to this. There. But when I moved to Florida in late 90, we had HBO and we had cable, and I watched a lot of Comedy Central. And it was it Mark Maron, I think, was the host at the time of, what was it called? Short Attention Span Theater. And they would show he'd show like a couple of minutes, I think it was, of like 3 comics, and then he'd have a little stand-up thing where he'd, stand up meaning go back to the host, and he'd talk some more and have his own jokes, and then they'd show like 3 more comics, just quick clips. And that was where I first remember seeing Bill. I don't mean to sound bitter or cold or cruel, but I am, so that's how it comes out. Short Attention Span Theater, and I'd seen a couple of clips there, and I remember at first I was like, I didn't really like this guy. I thought he was kind of a little too pushy. I thought he was, at the time, I liked what Carlin was saying, sort of, because I didn't understand all of it, but he was kind of, came across a little oldie cunty, and Bill seemed like, I still think that way, but in a different way, a better way. Now I understand it better. But I was like, yeah, this guy's like, yeah, it's a little, I don't know, maybe because I didn't fucking get it. It was over my head. That was the deal. Kind of like how now a lot of my shit's over other people's head. Not that I'm Bill Hicks and funny and all that stuff, just some of the stuff I talk about, like Jesus was a mushroom. What? If I was on the other page, I'd have hit Lisa. If I can say that. A couple of people, what do you mean by hit Lisa? It's a drop. See, now the timing's all fucked up. Now I gotta do this just for the folks that didn't know what I was saying. Oh no. Now I also notice that sometimes when I hit that, I heard it here, but then when I see it later to check the audio, it wasn't there. So, just to make sure, that's hitting Lisa. Slapped her ass and she went. That should have played better. The timing should have been better on that. I don't know what happened. I know I hit it right. I always hit it right. What? When? Shh. Lisa. So I remember at first I was, but it was only a few minutes, so it was okay that, it wasn't like I had to turn it off or anything, because there was something else coming. And that was back when I didn't know. I didn't know as much. It was fucking early 90s. I was a dumb twat. Wasn't even 20 years old yet. But then when I got into radio and I met Eric, he was already a fan of his, and I was kind of, what? And he goes, no, you really got to check this out. It was Relentless. He's like, you listen to the whole CD, and he let me borrow it, and I could have dubbed it onto a cassette or something. Back then, we didn't have the CD thing at school to burn CDs. I don't know. Did we even fucking play CDs? We didn't even have we didn't even. No, it was all cards, and tapes, and 2-inch reel to reel, and we had a 4-track. Whatever, dummy. You're getting off track. Tracksness. Yes. Oh no. What it is your mouth is getting a little dry from all the weed. What? You don't smoke weed. Yes, you do. Bill thought it should be mandatory. Not only do I think it should be legal, it should be fucking mandatory. So then I went and I listened to Relentless, and I think it was about, I don't know, this blurry memory, but I kind of remember thinking to myself at some point about halfway through going, this is kind of relentless. You just go wham, wham. And I'm like, wait. And at that point in 94, I was a little brighter. 4 years later, I was a little smarter. Or a couple of years later, I don't know, it might have been 91-ish or 2 that Short Attention Span in theater started. I don't remember exactly when that started. But anyway, so I'm getting into the guy. That sounded disgusting. Should have hit Lisa. So I get into it from Relentless. I'm all right. This guy's cool. I am digging this shit. And then become a Ron fan, and I'm listening to Ron in '94 when they premiered, and then it wasn't too much after. Wait a minute, am I getting this backwards? When was it? Yeah, because it was. I remember it was. Hearing it, Bennington was the one that said it. I've heard him listening to Ron. Now Bill Hicks died. I'm like, wait a minute. Wait, because that was February '94 that he died. I'm getting confused here. So maybe it's because afterwards, that's because he was dead, and that's why I got into it helped me with Eric getting me into him. God, it still sounds disgusting, right? Because he died in February '94. I'm getting that right. It wasn't February '95. Yeah, it was February '94. I know what the fuck I'm talking about. Yeah, 26/94. Right, so it must have been after, and that's what intrigued me because he was dead. Because I remember hearing, I did hear it from Ron Bennington first. He announced it on the Ron show, and then somewhere else, and then school, and then Eric was like, "Oh, dude, you gotta listen to this." And I did, and I was like, "Fuck, man, this guy is." Yeah, and then it made me want to be smarter. He made me want to be smarter because it was over my head, and still some of the stuff I was like, but because he had that anti-war, which I already was, thing, and just telling, he was considered a conspiracy theorist sort of at the time. Some of the stuff he was saying that's now considered, of course, fact as usual. I think conspiracy theorists are like fucking in the win column. I think it's like 99, and the loss column is like 1.5. So, see what I'm saying? But then I thought it was funny because I knew that he was born in Valdosta, Georgia. I always would say something back almost a decade later when I moved to Nashville. I still made a bunch of trips from Nashville back down to Florida, and I'd go through Valdosta. Oh, Hickstown. Hicks. I was just cruising down 75, and it wasn't really, I was in Valdosta for like 5 minutes maybe, I think it is. Just a quick clip right through. Hicks territory. And at that point, yeah, sometimes I'd be listening to Hicks on those trips. Jesus. Yeah, I'd be listening to Rant in E minor or Relentless or Dangerous. I had them. I had a bunch. I didn't have them all. I'm trying to remember. Arizona Bay. That was one where Eric went and got that pretty quick in '97, and then he gave it to me. He let me borrow it, and I dubbed it. That's where we had CD burners at that point, and then gave his back, and then we had our WIOD had been decimated. No more Neil Rogers, Phil Hendry. We only had Rick and Suds left from the good old days. we had a bunch of crappy shows they put on, a bunch of crappy people. I had to produce one of them. Scoot. Have I ever told the Scoot story? Oh, Jesus. But in that period, they had hired this one guy named Ed Arnold to do fill-ins and part-time. He did weekends. And the first time I listened to him a little bit, and before I worked with him, and I was like, he's kind of funny. He's not bad. He's better than most of the shit that they brought in. And I think it was Thanksgiving Day. I had to come in. I only lived a mile away, and I had to come in because somebody called out, and I was hungover as fuck. And they had Ed doing a Thanksgiving show. I was so hungover, and went in, and because they knew I was close and I'd do it, so I went in and did I think it was 3 hours, and while I'm trying to get through it, it was nice because Ed was actually Ed was entertaining, and one of the things that was funny about him was he was different than everybody, where he set the microphone up, or he stood the whole show. Everybody else, there was a sit-down board, just like I'm sitting right now. But he would rig the thing up, and he would stand, and most of the time he had his arms crossed as he was talking. And it was somewhere in there working with him that day, and I was like, wait, who the fucking, I know my head's fucking all being hungover. Who is he? Who does he remind me of? Holy shit. He kind of reminds me of Bill Hicks. And then I said something to him after the show, or maybe in the show, when either on the air or off the air. I don't know. I said something to him. He didn't know who Bill was. He'd never heard of him. And I said, I got 3 CDs. I'll burn one for you. I don't remember I think it was Rant in E minor that I burned for him. And if you haven't heard Bill's albums, most of them have his music, and Kevin Booth and some other friends of his that go in and out that kind of break up all the bits that were recorded live, and it's great because there's that's what I'm here to sing some songs for my mama. And Chicks Dig Jerks, that's one of my favorite songs. But he's got music going through. Sometimes there's lyrics, sometimes there's not. So anyway, that's the album, and I didn't say anything to Ed. I just burned the fucking thing for him, and I left it in his mailbox because I didn't see him very often because he only worked normally weekends. And the next time I saw him, I don't know, it was like a week or so later, and he goes, "Hey, dude, thanks for that. He's awesome. I can't believe you fucking think you say I remind you of him. Wow, that's really that's a compliment, man." I'm like, dude, no, you do. You have these, there's certain things, it's not exact, but there's there's a resemblance. No, and it's cool. You're not as funny, but yeah, but you guys were on the same team somewhere along the line. And he goes, the best part was, he goes, yeah, but you didn't have to take all that time and put all that music in there? You could have just, I just started laughing. Like, dude, that wasn't me. That was Bill. That was Bill on there. I didn't do shit. I just hit fucking play and record. I didn't do shit. Oh my God. Holy shit, that's fucking funny. I'm like, yeah, dude, that's Bill and fucking Kevin Booth, and who produced the albums. And I think Dwight Slade and and a couple other people. Anyway, it's like, man, you really didn't have to put all that music in between all the stuff that. I thought that was hilarious. Like, no, man. Where was I? Oh, Ed Arnold. So fucking funny. But one of the main things that I think really pulled me into Bill, that made me, definitely the weed stuff, saying weed should be mandatory. But it was the smoking bit, because I was a smoker, and like, fuck you, everybody. Still am. Fuck you. Or as Bill would say, what is it? It's I smoke. What is it? If you don't like it, what is it? I suggest you. If you don't like it, what is it? I suggest you taking a look around the world in which we live and shutting your fucking mouth. Shut your fucking mouth. Non-smokers die every day. Sleep tight. To people that aren't smoking, they're dying from nothing. What is it? I'm fucking that up. That's not where I was going. I didn't want to sit here and do bits of all bits. I just want to do a line here and there. Kind of like, whoa, snow? When? Here. Why? Chair. Now. Thank you. I suggest you take a look around the world in which we live and shut your fucking mouth. Whew. God. Belly. Woo. Where was I? Oh, yeah. All the smoking stuff, which I don't know if you know this or not, but I'm sure a lot of whips know who there's a lot more people that know who Dennis Leary is than they know who Bill Hicks is. And there was No Cure for Cancer, well, from Dennis Leary, and they were friends. And their friendship ended when No Cure for Cancer came out, and Bill was like, wow, I know that material. A lot of people were saying, wow, I know that material. Like the Jim Fix bit. And what was, let me go grab, what was I? Yeah, and in that, what did Bill say about it? What was it again? I didn't want to have to type. At least 3 stand-up comedians have gone on the record stating they believe Larry stole Hicks' material as well as his persona and attitude. In an interview, when Hicks was asked why he had quit smoking, he answered, "I just wanted to see if Dennis would too." In another interview, Hicks said, "I have a scoop for you. I stole Leary's act. I camouflaged it with punchlines, and to really throw people off, I did it before he did." God. And then, what was it? I guess 03, was it? Larry's Comedy Central roast. Lenny Clark, a Boston comic who is a friend of Larry's, said a carton of cigarettes was backstage from Hicks with the message, "Wish I'd gotten these to you sooner." And that was cut. You don't see it on the broadcast. I don't know if there's another version where you see it. I don't know. But from the broadcast, apparently it was cut. And then, what was it? There was somebody who was backstage at a Larry show, and she thought, "Wow, that's incredibly similar to old Hicks stuff," and the Jim Fix thing. And when Larry came off stage, she was more stunned. Apparently, that's Bill material, and Larry didn't say a word. Gee, I wonder why. Now, this is not me saying Dennis Leary's not funny. Dennis Leary can be very funny, but I lost when I first learned about that stuff. I don't know when it was, but I immediately went, "Oh, shit." And then Neil Rogers actually would play the Asshole song, Leary's Asshole song, which that was one of those things where I was like, wow, when I first started at IOD, I'm like, we can say asshole on the air. Wow. I was as a young dude, and you're kind of blown away at that shit back in the day. I say whatever I want now, which is beautiful. Otherwise, it'd just be so boring. A lot more boring than it is now, but this ain't boring. Excuse me, I'm sorry. This stuff is, I don't know if it was the orange juice beforehand, or if it's this beer. I just fucking love that. Why'd you quit smoking, Bill? I just want to see if Dennis would too. How funny. That is timing. Where was I? Is everything okay over here? This is recording, right? Oh, good. I wasn't just babbling for 28 minutes for nothing. Make sure that's running. Bang, says Bill. That's the close. That's that, right? All right, we're still there because I have to be. I'm not even looking at myself. I'm reading. I've really prepared. Well, I didn't have to. My preparation. It wasn't like I was looking stuff up. Really, just those couple things I didn't want to copy and paste. I heard all this stuff was like, I know this. I wasn't even looking at all this bullet points of shit. And I haven't even been going in order because, did I tell you this isn't coherent? It doesn't matter. You don't even know this anyway. So it's actually pretty fucking coherent. It's just this rattling pinball brain. What? Would you just light that thing? Oh, that's another smoking joke. Hicks's. What was it? You smoke, sir? Yeah. How many packs? Oh, one? Yeah. I go through 2 lighters a day. God, I love it. He was my first. That's where the whole mushy thing actually began, of course, with Bill. Him mentioning Terrence McKenna. I'm like, who's this fuck? Who's that? I didn't know who the fuck Terrence McKenna was until he said it. And then talking about the healing thing, which I did, all the stuff that he talked about in his material was that, it was all born from reality. It was all true stories. Like, especially when he talked about the the heroic dose in Fredericksburg, Texas. I think he said. Was it? Yeah, I think that's right. And a ranch with Kevin Booth and Dwight. I think Dwight Slade. And the whole tears of forgiveness and UFOs. That kind of shit. I get it. I got it finally when I did mushrooms, after that, but I never did a heroic dose. And then when I finally did, I went, "Duh. Why did it take me so long?" This is why I talk about it for other people, so it doesn't take them so long to finally go, "Oh, that's what the chocolate factory really is." Anyway, there's a documentary called American, the Bill Hicks story, and it's this really cool animation stuff that they use with interviews with his mom Mary. Isn't that funny? Bill's mom's name was Mary. His brother Steve. I think his dad's in there a little bit, and Kevin Booth, Dwight Slade, a bunch of other people, and there's a bunch of Hicks stuff that at that point many people hadn't seen. A few clips here and there. It's really neat. Check it out, American Bill Hicks story. And I went to see a premiere or a screening of it when it was premiering. It hadn't played much at a film festival that was in downtown Los Angeles. And was it 2010? Was that when that came out? Did I put the year on there for this note? Because I'm all out of line. It's Matt Harlock and Paul Thomas. I don't remember the year. I think it was 2010. And my girlfriend and I took her, well, a lady I was seeing, she wasn't my girlfriend yet. And she didn't go out much, so it was kind of, kind of neat because she didn't get out much. She has a mentally challenged daughter, so she didn't get out much. Poor thing. But so we go. We had quite a time because first we get there, park, and I drove her vehicle, and I didn't know, and I flicked with the lights or whatever, and I thought I turned them off. Seemed like I did. Whatever. We go in. Then as we're sitting there, and it was the theater seating in the stadium seating, and we were like almost like right in the middle of the middle. And as we're sitting there waiting, people are coming in and whatever, and I look over to the left and coming up the side. I'm like, oh, hey, that's Bill's mom and brother, and that's Kevin Booth. It might have been somebody else. I don't know. They're coming up. I'm like, oh shit. They keep going. All of a sudden, they come along and they go to the row, not the row directly behind us, but the one after that, and almost directly behind us. I'm like, holy shit, Mary's sitting right over there, Bill's mom. And then watch the movie, and it's fucking great. And I was laughing my ass off through a bunch. And I already knew quite a bit of it. And then afterwards, they have a little Q&A. Kevin was down there and Steve was down there. But Mary still, I don't think Mary went down. I don't remember. Anyway, at the end, when the lights go up and everybody's leaving or whatever, I'm like, I got to say hi. And luckily the row right behind us cleared out real quick. And then I just stepped over and I put my hand out to Mary and hi Mary, it's nice to meet you finally. And she, shook my hand and went, it's nice to see you again. And then, when I went, again, I never met her. She's an older lady. She meets a lot of people saying, a lot of Bill fans. So she might have thought, whatever, she didn't hear, it's loud in here. She didn't hear, it's nice to meet you. And she said again. And then after, it took some time, about, 20 seconds. And I went, she sees Bill in my eyes. That's what it is. That's what it was. She saw Bill. She saw Bill. Oh, Bill. Oh, look at Billy. His porn bit. I love porn. I'm afraid that I'm gonna die before my parents, and then why am I talking like that? So he's gonna die. He was afraid he was gonna die before his parents, and they were gonna find the porn wing in his apartment, and there'd be his mom. Oh, Mom. Because he'd already done some porn stuff and some titles that he'd already had, and then his mom, Mary's, oh, look at this picture, look at this Bill, look at a picture of Bill, and he's a Cub Scout. Oh, look at my boy, isn't he adorable? Isn't he cute? I wonder what's in this box over here. I'll be the only guy going through the pearly gates with his mom spanking him. Mom, they were on sale. Clam Lapis Volumes 1 through 40. I'm not getting it totally right. I'm mixing it up, but oh God, it's so fucking funny. That was one of the greatest things. The way his porn bits was to go from porn to talking about from religion to porn. It was just like, man, I could do it all. But then we go outside, and as we're walking to her vehicle, we're like, oh yeah, let's go here. This is going to be great to eat. Yeah, I'm kind of hungry. And that was so much fun. Wasn't it great? And we get into her, what was that? One of those Toyota Jeep thingies. Big fucking thick thing. What are those called? I always forget. Anyway, fucker was dead, because when I turned the lights off, I thought, apparently, I set them on somehow, even though they weren't fucking on when we walked away from it. And the parking attendant didn't say anything. It was right there. Somehow I killed the batteries, and then we had to get a jump. That sucked, because it delayed our meal, which of course delayed sex, and I was ready to go after meeting Mary. I was excited. Speaking of Mary, you got to look this up. You got to go to YouTube and type in Mary Hicks, David Letterman, because was it 2013? I don't know, when Dave was on his sort of apology tour after his heart attack. Back in 94 or 93, late 93, Bill was already suffering from pancreatic cancer and doing chemotherapy, but still continuing to tour. But nobody knew it except for close people to him. Although some people, of course, noticed he was getting a little thin. But he did his 11th or 12th appearance on Letterman and ended up getting cut from the show because of the material, which had been approved many times over. And then sometime at the last minute, I don't know if you watch those segments with Mary. This one whole show he did was all about, it was mostly, 3/4 of it was about Bill and his decision to cut his set from the show late 93, whenever it was, and had Mary on, and she was on for 3 segments, I believe, talking to her, and she's fucking hilarious. She tells some stuff, and of course Dave fucks up the interview, interrupts some stuff where she's getting to some good stuff. But other than that, she's funny. And accepts his, he apologizes over and over, it's a very cool thing. I tear up most of the time. Most times I've seen it, and I've watched it over a few times over. I'm probably going to watch it I didn't watch it before this, but I'm probably going to watch it after. Again, it's really good. And then he actually plays the piece that was cut, the set that was cut from 1993. And he's like, and after it, they play it, he plays it, and it's like, I don't know what I was thinking. It was totally fine. There was nothing wrong. Part of it was that the rifle pendant Jesus joke, people wearing a cross. They actually think that when Jesus comes back, he wants to see a fucking cross. It's like going up to Jackie Onassis with a rifle pendant. Just thinking of John, Jackie. Just thinking of John. I think that was one of them. I think that was it, if I'm correct. You can go back and watch it. And it's fucking great, because Mary murders. And, she's not somebody that's normally doing that kind of stuff on a late night television show, which was at the time, because the internet was big, but Letterman was still big. Oh boy, what the... I don't really know. I can't divulge. I signed an NDA. But you got to check that out. If I have, in this little over a half an hour, if I have done my job of getting you interested in Bill Hicks, if you've never heard of him, or reminding you, or reminding you. If I'm done my job, that's something that you got to see if you haven't. And it's great to watch Dave apologize, because Bill fucking deserved the apology. And I think Bill wrote like a 3-page thing after he got cut. He wrote this thing, an op-ed, I believe it was. Was it the New York Times? I don't know. What was it? What was that? Where is that? Did they mention that here? They should have. Fuckers. I don't see it. Oh! I was talking about the mushy thing. As I was scrolling, I saw the McKenna thing, and again with the mushroom trip stuff, and then the stoned ape theory of that had to be where we went. Oh yeah, that was another one of Bill's lines was. We were just apes, it was, and then with the little mushrooms, and then found these mushrooms and shit, and then all of a sudden went from I think we can go to the moon. But and now, which that's an example. That's one thing now with all these years later where, and I think Bill, if he was still alive, would be with me in realizing at this point that we didn't go to the fucking moon. That's a load of shit. Allegedly. But the joke still works, because that's got to be very similar to what happened, and that's how our brain started to get. We started to do more things and became more of a. That's what I don't know. It fucking makes fucking too much sense, especially with why the human of today would realize that is, wow, that's the source. That's why, because it was passed down. And then there were people that got away from doing it, and that's where their ego went and blasted off. And then they accumulated all this power and then sucked away the knowledge of this is what keeps your ego down and makes a better world. And, because the ego is the devil. That's the devil. That's what they're really saying. Ego is evil. That's why psychedelics take away depression and all that stuff and make you realize, oh yeah, that's right. Oh, it's just a game. Be cool. and takes away your ego, and you feel better and understand all those good religious things that are in every fucking book. All the different books, which are all about psychedelics. Hindus think cow, like Bill said it, Hindus think cows are holy. Holy shit. Because God comes out of their ass. I know. What is it? I know where heaven is. Where? In a cow's ass. I think that's why you giggle for the first couple hours. I know where heaven is. Where? The cow's ass. That's why. You're not supposed to be, born in a manger? Whee! He never got that far saying, I never heard it. He never said Jesus was a mushroom. But I think at this point, if he was alive, I think he'd be with me on that one too. Because I don't think his thoughts on mushrooms would have changed. They would have just gotten stronger. And he was, and it helped him. It definitely helped him with his quitting hard drugs and alcohol. Definitely helped him. Made it easier. Guaranteed. AA was born from acid. Always remember. Bill W. did acid. And was it ketamine or something? I don't know about the other one. I know he did acid. He did a couple other things, but those were the real booms of what kept him and helped him stop drinking. And then they slowly took that knowledge away. Didn't I just say something just like that a few seconds ago? Bing! Very similar. Kind of like hemp, cannabis. Where was I? Yeah, the mushroom thing. And I really do. I think if Bill were still alive, he would he'd be on that shelf because he's always looking for answers, and that first big answer I've always wanted when I was a kid until I realized what I'm saying now is virgin birth. Let's cut the shit. We're all adults. Let's cut the shit. We stopped the Santa thing when we got a certain age. We stopped the tooth fairy thing and all the other bullshit when we got a certain age. Can we stop the virgin birth story? We're fucking adults. It's not possible. Let's stop being cunts. Oh, spores don't need seed? Born in a manger? In a cow? Bing! I'm actually going to actually give you my old mushroom bit. In a bit. God, I love to rhyme. It's not a rhyme. Sound effects. That's not real. Let's see before I do that though. Let's see. We got that. We got Ed Arnold, Mushy, and Terrence. Mary, American. Oh, careful talking. Usually when I talk about Mary, I usually tear up when I tell that story. Because I put that down and I didn't even look at it. I guess that's what kept me from tearing up. Mary Letterman. And then with my first heroic dose with my buddy Tim, which was after seeing the American Bill Hicks story. And there's one of the great parts of that. I think it's Kevin Booth. Might be Dwight, but I think it's Kevin, talking about that heroic dose on that ranch in Texas, and where they were talking about how they were communicating without talking, and seeing things that anybody that wasn't tripping with them, it wasn't going to see, and all this stuff. And I'd remembered that, and then I'd seen it. Did she get it for me? What had happened? I'd seen it again a couple times. Anyway, in that first heroic dose, that hit me where I was like, wait. Because there was a few times where Tim and I were like, wait, did you? When we took our walk and we outside, and it was a great walk where I showed him all this weird shit that he'd never seen in Studio City. and it was at night, so it looked even cooler. But I noticed that whole thing about, wait, is it just me? You see that too? There's nobody, right? It's like, no, it's us. What? Okay, cool. I'm like, wait, I know that. So then every time I've seen American, that sometimes I pull that piece up because there's that clip is on YouTube if you can find it. I pull that up just to go, yeah, that's right. Yeah, we were on the same line. We were, as Manson would say, we're walking the same line. I had to school some people on Twitter about Manson today. I had to. I couldn't help it. Somebody, I don't know why I saw it, because the dude that, I saw Manson was trending, so I went over to see what the hell was going on, and they were that same old shit, comparing fucking Manson to Hitler and all these fucking scary. I had to school folks and go, cut the crap, all right? The guy didn't fucking tell anybody to kill anybody. It was all Tex and Linda. Stop with the Bugliosi bullshit. All lies. No, they don't tell you that Jay Sebring was a cocaine dealer and they called him the Candy Man. And Frykowski was a fucking drug dealer. He wanted to be one of the big drug dealers of Hollywood. And Abigail Folger was fucking funding him. They don't tell you that part. They don't tell you the part about Tex and Linda being drug burners, being cunts. They were. And that was a drug burn. And they don't tell you that Tex actually lived in that house, the Tate house, when Terry Melcher was renting it, and sold drugs. With Melcher knew what the fuck was going on, and they were doing drugs together. They don't tell you that part. Those are facts. Look them up for yourself. It was all Tex and Linda. Manson had nothing to do with it except for the fucking trying to help cover it up because he knew it would have put him back in prison. So yeah, he tried to help cover it up. And then with the LaBiancas, he just ripped them off and he left because he had to take that money and pay off the bikers that were blackmailing him over the Bernard Crowe thing and the Gary Hinman thing, which were all drug things where Manson had to come in and help other people. But that's not saying that Manson was the greatest guy. He was, you can't really trust him, but he was a hell of a musician. That was the other thing they don't tell you. They tell you that he just wanted to be a musician and he sucked and blah. Well, many people fucking admired him. And he recorded with the Wrecking Crew, which a lot of those songs in the 60s that you've heard were actually recorded by the Wrecking Crew. Carole King, they recorded with him. Carole King has said it, I'll tell you, but they destroyed the tapes after all that bullshit went down. No, he was heavily admired because he was one of a kind, and everybody said it. Even Neil Young, Dennis, whatever. This isn't supposed to be about Charles. Why did I bring up Charlie? Oh, because I said I had to fucking school some people on Twitter, which I didn't want to do, but I had enjoyed it. If that bothers you, I suggest you take a look around the world in which we live and shut in your fucking mouth. Where was I? Damn it, where was I before the Twitter thing? I brought up the Twitter thing. When I was talking about Tim and and then right around there, that's when I started to realize. Well, I think I rewatching E.T. not too long after that, and then when they're all in the beginning and they're all communicating through their heart, and I'm like, oh, that's right, and that's where the whole mushrooms DMT thing came in, to where I kept watching it again, going, wait. After my first couple of heroic doses. And that's where the ET was about mushrooms and DMT came from, and I'm right about that one too. Just saying. But I'll take the hits for being, one of the first ones pointed out, if not the first one to fucking point it out. I'll take the hits, and then, a bunch of years go by, and it'll be everybody's like, hey, did you know? Did you notice this? Hey, did you notice that? Hey, who was the first one to say it? That was me. I'll be forgotten, but I won't be because the whip is right here, and you guys will be there to say, the first time it was ever said was this motherfucker over here. Right? But not the Jesus mushroom thing. I'm the first one to say that. That's different. That's John Marco Allegro and a whole bunch of other folks. It goes way, way back. One of those things is taken away from our knowledge. Yeah, I already said that. All right, where were we? Oh, I did say that, yeah, he was born in Valdosta, right? And then I did that. Mushrooms, Comedy Central, Ron, Eric, Leary, Ed Arnold, Mushy Terrence, Mary, American, Letterman. Oh, burn the fucking flag. One of the first things I saw, it was his first thing. Yeah, Sane Man was actually the first thing. I think it was the first thing released, and that was the first time I saw him do something where I went, wait, that's me. It was the burn the flag bit in Sane Man, where he talks about the whole thing that was going down back in the day with the whole court and all that shit about burning the flag. It's like, the flag represents freedom, so it's just a piece of cloth. It's not a big deal. My daddy fought in the war for that. Yeah, I bought mine. My daddy died in Korea. Huh, mine was made in Korea. I think it's Korea. Yeah. But when he gets to the point where he says it represents the right to burn the fucking flag, and the way he does that, especially at that time where I was a lot more animated of a person, when I first saw that, that's me. It was one of those early things where I felt like we were like, walking the line. That's why I brought up Manson. I said walking the line. We're walking the same line. We're in the same thought. And then there was a point I wanted to do. What was it called? What was it called? There was some guy I think it was some guy in Ireland or the UK. He wrote something about a play, a one-man show thing, where if Bill came back for a day to look around and have all these things to say. I saw a bit of it online, real cool. I don't know, I think it was like a minute or so. I was, I could have done that better. And then I always wondered, why the fuck do they not why has nobody ever done a movie about Bill? And I was like, if there are two gigs that I never really push for anything, but if there was any two things that would ever going to come up that I would push for and actually want to do, would be, well, years ago when I could have done it, was something about Axl Rose or Bill, and neither have been done yet. They're waiting for me, sisters. But Richard Linklater, Dazed and Confused, School of Rock, is supposed to be. He's got something still on IMDb where it's still in development. A Bill Hicks biopic, however you want to say it. They both sound right. I don't care. I'm not going to be a Nazi about it. But Paul Dano apparently is supposed to be. I think he's attached. I don't know. I didn't look that part up. I just looked up the Linklater thing to see if it was still under his thing on IMDb, which it is. But Paul Dano would crush it. I think he'd do a fucking killer. He crushes everything he does. So I think he'd fucking murder. And I'd be really excited to see it. And because, of course, with Linklater and the music stuff from all of his movies, especially Dazed and Confused and School of Rock, one of the cool things that he would obviously be doing is tapping Ed Arnold on the shoulder and going, "Hey, you want to hear some cool music?" And he'd probably, there's probably going to be an element of Bill's a big element of Bill's music in whatever Linkletter does, and hopefully, because he's a Texas guy, and that's where Bill ended up living later on in life. Georgia, Jersey, Florida, and then Texas. Or somewhere else. I don't remember. Well, he died in Arkansas, Little Rock. But he was with family there. I don't think he actually lived there until he went there like for the last month of his life. But what was I saying? Houston. Oh, Linkletter. So I think Linkletter is the perfect person to do it. But, or there's many, but I think it would be very cool, especially if Paul Dano is in it, playing Bill. Who would play Mary? Who would be really good? Who would play Mary? I wish I'd started thinking about that before I just thought of it. That sounded weird. Thanks. Who would play Mary? Man, there's a lot of... I'm trying to think of an actress that would... around her age that looks like her. And that accent of hers. She's so adorable. You gotta watch that Letterman thing. So adorable. Maybe I'll put the link up in the description. Because you fucks are lazy. I'm joking, not... What? I smoke. Is everything going okay over here on the other page? Ooh, I just bumped the computer. Everything's going all right. You guys are enjoying looking at Bill? Yeah, me too. What is this one? Oh, I forgot to show this. That's right. For you listeners only, Eddie Pepitone, well, I think it was J.T. Haberstadt, comedian. They do a lot of stuff together. Right now they're doing some more shows together. And I think as a joke, J.T. put this together where it's like a Bill action figure, and it's the picture from oh shit, which one is I forget? I always forget. No, it isn't. That's a different pic of his with a cigarette. And I don't know who it actually. I don't know, but he did a really cool job. And Eddie just the other day shared it, and I'm like, oh, I'm doing this Hicks thing. I got to definitely got to show that. Eddie Pepitone. Check Eddie on Instagram. Eddie is hilarious. He's funny. Very Hicksish. He's walking the line. He's walking the Hicks line. Obviously, that's why he put that up. Very funny. All right, so I showed that. Right, let's go back. Where are we? Burn the Flag, Paul Dano, Obvious Inspiration. Oh, so here, now I'm going to give you two things of mine where you can maybe, I'm actually going to play, not one of the best ones, but actually one of the only couple that I have of the early 2019, I think is this that I'm going to play in a minute. But first, I'm going to give you my mushy bit because I didn't have this mushy bit back then. And then, but yeah, I had a bunch. I would just record them on the phone, and then when I moved to Florida, my phone, I had them all there. I didn't email them to myself like a douchebag. I had a whole pack in there that I would be like, it takes a while to listen back, and that's the hard part, is doing it and then recording it and then listening back to see what's bad and what's good, what to shave and what to keep. And it's difficult. So sometimes it takes a week or so, depending on how good it went. But anyway, then I'd say I didn't, and then I'd think about it. I just used them to listen to and whatever. And then improve, well, I won't do that, but that was all I was keeping them for. But never thought I'd go play them for anybody. Don't think I was doing the podcast yet. But anyway, the phone that they were in, when I was in Florida, and I set it on the hood of my mom's vehicle for some reason, because I was working, it was sitting right there it was by the garage thing. I was doing stuff in the garage. I'd set it down to get some stuff or whatever. And I'm going to the store. All right. And then she took off. And then I realized, wait, my phone was on her fucking hood. I rode all around on a bike looking for my phone. It's gone. So anyway, there was only a few that I had left, though. Besides some video stuff that way early that isn't even, the sound is, ugh. The sound's not great on this one, but talking about stand-up and all the stuff, I've never, I think I've not shown it, but I've put the link up for my first ever show at the Improv for that Greg, what was that class that I took? Anthony Jeselnik went to the same guy. Greg, I don't know, you can see it somewhere. It was the first time after, I don't know, I think I'd done 5 or 6 open mics and went to his class. Greg, I was hoping he looks like Rick Nielsen without the hat and the guitar from Cheap Trick. Greg, I keep wanting to say Reed, but that's not right. Anyway, whatever. But what I'm going to play is, it's before it's before I had honed the Kenny Loggins, Chuck Norris being my parents joke, which is similar to the Mikey Mouth thing, the bareback leapfrog. I hadn't added the bareback leapfrog and added some other stuff that went in later to punch it up a little bit. It was one of the, because before this I had been, for my appearance, my opening joke was some Ken Burns baseball shit, which led into the Dave Roberts stuff that I had been doing. You'll hear that. But anyway, want to do the Bill-inspired mushy bit that I was doing the last bunch of sets I did before I left Los Angeles, and haven't done stand-up since. But after a bunch of stuff, I'm already made myself sound weird. It's obviously pretty simple. But then what the bit was, I just copied and pasted it and went and grabbed it, so I'm going to read it to you, so I'm not going to try to perform it. But anyway, what was it? If you'd like to know what it sounds like when a vagina dries up, here you go. Jesus was a mushroom. And then after the laughter or the noises, whatever noises they were making, I'd let that go for a couple of seconds, and then I'd go, you hear that? But I wouldn't laugh like I did there. And then I'd say, let's go to church. Virgin birth, spores need no seed. Born in a manger, in a pile of cow dung. Died for me so I could chew his ass up and shake hands with the universe, God, and see that there's no such thing as death. Holy water, let the mushroom grow into a chalice, drink what collects, and there's your water into wine. Giant mushroom fountains in Vatican City and a huge pine cone statue, which represents the pineal gland, your third eye, which gets cleaned off by the mushroom so you can shake hands with the universe. Ever notice the Pope dresses like a mushroom? You will now. Anyone tripping balls sounds like Jesus. So obviously, the Bible should be taught in science class. Something that I used to not think. Nothing has made me feel more like Mikey from the Goonies finding One-Eyed Willie than realizing Jesus was a mushroom. Wait, One-Eyed Willie makes you think of a penis, and a penis makes you think of a mushroom. I'm like Captain America. I can do this all day. And then and then I ended up adding, I think I only did this once or twice, where whenever I see some with a pro-psychedelics for depression post online, I instinctively grab my package like a rapper. And I have a doctor's appointment tomorrow. It's starting to happen a lot, and I'm sore. Sorry, didn't mean to laugh. So, anyway, that was seriously inspired by Bill Hicks. And that's one of the things when you do stand up. If you were ever to almost anybody that's done stand up for a few times, a good handful of times at least, will tell you that they didn't even probably realize it, but people would say to them, "Hey, you kind of reminded me of so and so," and they'd be like, "Oh, that's one of my favorite comics." Oh, I thought, like, what do they talk about back in the day in New York? Like 60% of the fucking people that were new people that were getting up there were totally sounded like fucking Dave Attell. The funny thing, when I started, I was worried, which is stupid. I was worried, well, mainly because I wanted to have a drink in my hand at the time, and I wanted his attitude. I was worried that people were going to think I was trying to be Doug Stanhope, which wasn't even close with my jokes. But just because from my, just assume that, and I actually wasn't even thinking about Bill, but a bunch of people, and I wasn't thinking about it. After a show, Bill Hicks would be proud. Michael Marinaccio was there once. I think he talked about it when I went my pee break. He talked about it in Whip, was it 87? Something like that. Michael Marinaccio, my brother from another thing. He was standing. Him and his now wife were there. And I was talking to him when the dude came up and went, "Dude, Bill Hicks would be proud," and walked away. I went, "Oh, thank you." What? And remember Mike's face. Wow, dude. But like, yeah, it's cool, but it's not. Yeah, because I'd learned at that point. At that point, I was kind of like, I didn't even realize. I was so much worried about the Stanhope thing, which was stupid because I was actually, it was more of an attitude thing, like I said, but it was funny because I wouldn't even, until a few people did that. And I'm like, oh, yeah, I don't want that too much, but, well, you'll see. You'll hear it. I think at this point, what you'll hear wasn't so much that. I think I was getting into myself, if I can say that. How gross. I don't have toys. All right, we got a little over 15 minutes left, so now I'll play that. Where did I put it? All right, you guys ready? The sound isn't the greatest. And the phone, I would leave the phone where I was sitting. I would always sit in the back and watch the other comics, and then so I could have some. My opening joke won't make any sense because you didn't hear the guy before me. The guy before me, that's why the cocaine and the foreskin thing, he had something, and that's why I came up. So I would always sit some comics would never be in that room. And they'd just wait until it was their turn. But I'd like to sit in the back, record, and set my phone in the back, and listen to the first couple. I'd be there I'd sit back there in the whole show for the most part. If I wasn't, I did pee a lot, so I'd have to get up and piss like 5 times before I go up. Nerves get to my kidneys or my bladder. But I'd sit in the back to see at least the last couple of comics before me, so I could use some, if something popped into my head, I'd use a callback and, immediately. Yeah, I was here too. I saw what you just saw. Boom, get them right in. So that's why the first joke won't really make much sense. But hopefully I think the quality's decent enough to where you'll get it, you'll hear it. But the host was sitting at the same table in the back as me. The girl that was hosting that you'll hear introduce me. All right, are we ready? I'm kind of... okay, let's go.
You ready for your next comedian? Okay, you may have seen him at the Comedy Store. You may have seen him at the Improv. You may have seen him here at Flappers. Please give it up for Mr. Wayne Roberts.
The rest of the comics, I'm Wayne. I wish I had foreskin and a lot of cocaine. You guys having fun? Woo! Yeah, I'm probably going to ruin that. Got any Dodgers fans? Dave Roberts has been the manager of the Dodgers for 3 fucking years now. One person has asked me if we're related. Straight up racism. Look, I smoke menthol cigarettes, but nothing.
I added to
Day
that.
from a Red Sox fence and some tanning up to win the series in '04. So, fuck the Yankees. Thank you, I'm guessing most of you guys weren't aware that 47 years ago, Kenny Loggins and Chuck Norris played a lot of bareback leapfrog. And this squeezed out.
I had added the bareback there. Okay.
So you know, Kenny is a great mom. I know I don't look it, but when I was born, I wrecked that man's vagina. But that's what gave him the voice you all know and love, so I'm all right.
I sang it later.
The age. This song? I think. I wear the beard because I'm scared of what I'd look like without it. My real mom. Beard teases me in the mirror. Go ahead, shave me. Don't you want to look like a lesbian? I'm not sure your mom's gay, but you definitely look like your gay daughter. Isn't beard humor wonderful? No, it makes me want to stop doing psychedelics. First time I remember seeing my mom scared, I was 7 years old. Her and my dad had just come home from seeing the first Alien movie in the theater. She was flipping out. My dad was giggling. Next time I saw her scared was a couple weeks later. First time I got high on weed. You know, it sounds bad, 7 years old, but my dad didn't mean it. He'd hotbox the basement with me playing down there dozens of times, no problem. Obviously, this was some good shit. And so this day, I'm freaking out, my mom's freaking out, my dad's high as fuck. And that's the story of their divorce. Last time I saw my mom scared, I made her get a pop brownie and watch Alien again. It's not true, I'm a pussy. I had Chuck Norris do it. All right, quick life tip, especially for the fellas. Don't do meth. Your asshole might turn into a Venus flytrap. I said too much. All right, we'll move on. First time I fisted somebody, I was 15. She was a cow. I'm not being a dick. I mean, she's gonna need more chicken graffiti. A real cow. Chick-fil-A reference. Wondering about the age. I learned working at a dairy farm can get really, really dirty firsthand. I work in the Well, my boss said that when they're constipated, it's better to scrape it out than to give them medicine. And a lot more fun. He was right. Damn, that one usually kills. She's not dead, I started. You ever find yourself sitting all comfortable at the window, staring out at the beauty of nature and life and thinking, how did I end up in the psych ward? Again. And why am I comfortable? Thank you guys for letting me prove I should be confined to my apartment. Enjoy the rest of the show. Take care of your servers. I gotta go take it.
One more time for Wayne Roberts!
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much. That probably didn't play right, did it? I'll have to hit it again, right? Won't I have to hit it again? Okay. Is that enough? Or should I should make sure, shouldn't I? Oh, see? What the fuck? It's like in every other thing. It's really weird. Whatever. Hey, Lisa. I said, hey, Lisa. Yeah, it worked better. I should drag out my words more. So there you go. I've talked about it, so I played some. Did that make sense? Of course it did. It always does in the long run. So there you have it. There's a set. There's a 5-minute set. And notice that? That was what? How long? Oh, I just blew it out, but I think it was 5 minutes and 13 seconds. So if you break that up, you notice that the first, what? She took the first 8 seconds up, introducing me, and then the music, so like 10 or whatever. And then you hear like 3 seconds of her. I fucking time it. I nailed 5 minutes. Fucking nailed it. I wasn't under. I wasn't over. I told you, you got 5 minutes, not 4:56, not 5:07. 5 minutes. I nailed it. The fisting thing, that fisting joke with the cow, because it starts out, she was a cow, Whoa, Jesus. She was fat, that's what they're supposed to be thinking. But it was a literal cow. I worked on a dairy farm, and I had to put on this glove that went to my shoulder, and my stepbrother was on the other end holding the tail of this cow. And my boss he wouldn't do it, and the boss couldn't because he wasn't strong enough, the old man. And I had to, and we're back to the cow. I didn't even mean the whole fucking thing. Synchronicities. Murdered. We got 7.5 minutes left. 8.5 minutes. Brought it right back to the cow in the ass. The fisting thing. That my fisting the cow joke was just to tell a funny story. I never equated it with the mushy. Holy shit. God, this is why I do this. That nailed it. Oh, I thought this was going to go pretty good. I don't know. I like this closer. Wow. Dudes, that was awesome. Didn't even know that. It's funny. Would have been funnier if the fisting bit had worked that night. But you didn't hear it because of the sound and the clapping and all that stuff, but I would always go up and say, keep it going for the host. And sometimes I'd say the previous comic. And then at the end, always have a little thing. I always say, I don't know how many times I used the last quite a few sets where I came up with the thank you for letting me prove I should be confined to my apartment. Take care of your servers. Enjoy the rest of the show. I gotta go pee. Gotta do the server thing. Always got to remember to do that. And and then with the mushy, the psychedelic stuff, I did it at the beginning of Whip 112, was it? With James Jesso? Awesome. You going back to check out the James Jesso one? Awesome. Nick Searcy one that's on Rumble and the audio places. Awesome. Daniel Knopf, awesome. Juan and Susie, go back and check those out. But at the beginning of the Gesso one, because it was going to be about psychedelics, I did the Bill Hicks bit, the whole thing with the, wouldn't it be nice to see a positive drug story on the news? Today, a young man on acid realized that all matter is merely energy condensed to a slow vibration, that we're all one consciousness experiencing itself subjectively. There's no such thing as death. Life is only a dream, and we're the imagination of ourselves. Here's Tom with the weather. The greatest fucking chunks ever written. I guess that's what my mushy bit is. It's definitely inspired by that. To go to church, and I remember when I did it the last time I did a set, and I only did 2 sets 3 sets at the Comedy Store. But that last one at the end after Sam's show, Comedy Chaos, when he let me go up with some of the other open micers, I didn't realize I was in this Comedy Store, and I went, when I said the line, "Let's go to church," because that's a Joey Diaz thing. I didn't realize that, and I'm pretty sure that night, and I didn't record it because didn't realize I was going up when I was going up. I got jumped. I was pretty stoned and scared, and tripped my way out onto the stage over the curtain, and then I did a fucking surfer thing when I fucking caught my feet. Started with a laugh. I didn't mean it. I just didn't mean it. My foot got caught as I was trying to open the curtain. Because I was all surprised, like, oh shit, he just called my name. I thought somebody else was going up before me, or Sam was going to be up. Anyway, I remember realizing when I said let's go to church, shit, that's a Joey Diaz thing. That doesn't work here. It's this Comedy Store. Fuck. It's kind of like somebody was like, I knew, put right in immediately. It was anybody staying late at the store. They stay late a lot in the main room and watch the open micers. It's like the 2/3 of the room clears. It starts to clear out after the big names go. And I know I lost a couple of them, well, at least for a second with the let's go to church. I'm like, ooh, you don't say church in the Comedy Store. That's a Joey Diaz thing. I didn't realize. Anyway, whatever. I still got a bunch of laughs. It was a set that was about as fun. It was about as well as the one I just played. I did about that well. And then at the end, that was the thing that I knew I had been told, that when I was done, I was going to be calling up the next comic, and I'd forgotten his fucking name, and he was the guy that, before I had never met him, he actually worked at the store. He was one of the door guys. And I'd never really met him. And earlier that night, it was funny, because he came up to me and said something about Ken Burns. And I went, yeah, I used to actually do a Ken Burns bit. And then I was sitting there for the next hour going, shit, do I do both? Do I do the Ken Burns and the Kenny Loggins? Whatever. I just did the Loggins Norris thing. And then I didn't realize he was going to be the one that I was calling up, that I was bringing up after I was done, and I'd forgotten his name, and I had to yell it out. I forgot his name. I was so stoned. Fucking one of the sponsors was a fucking weed place, and the drink, it was stronger than the fucking bottle said, and I drank it slow, but I started drinking it like a couple hours before I went on, but I drank it slow. Anyway, what do we got? 2 minutes left. Now, what are we going to do here? So then, first thing I'm going to read from Revelation's Close. It's just a ride. The world is like a ride in an amusement park, and when you choose to go on it, you think it's real because that's how powerful our minds are. The ride goes up and down, round and round, has thrills and chills. It's very bright, it's colored, it's very loud, and it's fun for a while. Many people have been on the ride for a long time, and they begin to wonder, hey, is this real or is this just a ride? And other people have remembered, and they come back to us and say, hey, don't worry, don't be afraid ever, because I was trying to go really fast because I'm trying to get this to 90 minutes. I don't want to go over, but I'm just going to fucking maybe do some more babbling. Because, where was I? All right, now that I've said that, because what's the time? Yeah, there's no way. Yeah, there's no way, because I'm also want to read Bill's final letter. I'm going to start this over. We got some more time. Maybe I'll do a 1:45, 15 more minutes. Who knows? Whatever. The world is like a ride in an amusement park. And when you choose to go on it, you think it's real because that's how powerful our minds are. The ride goes up and down, around and around. It has thrills and chills. And it's very brightly colored. And it's very loud. And it's fun for a while. Many people have been on the ride for a long time, and they begin to wonder, hey, is this real or is this just a ride? And other people have remembered, and they come back to us and say, hey, don't worry. Don't be afraid ever, because this is just a ride. And we kill those people. Shut him up. I have a lot of invested in this ride. Shut him up. Look at my furs of worry. Look at my big bank account and my family. This has to be real. It's just a ride. But we always kill the good guys who try and tell us that. You ever notice that? And let the demons run amok. But it doesn't matter, because it's just a ride. And we can change it anytime we want. It's only a choice. No effort, no work, no job, no savings of money. Just a simple choice right now between fear and love. The eyes of fear want you to put bigger locks on your doors, buy guns, close yourself off. The eyes of love instead see all of us as one. Here's what we can do to change the world right now to a better ride. Take all that money we spend on weapons and defense each year and instead spend it feeding and clothing and educating the poor of the world, which it would pay for many times over, not one human being excluded, and we can explore space together, both inner and outer, forever, in peace. Boom! That's the end of Revelations. If you've never seen it, you can pull it up. It's on YouTube. Bill Hicks, Revelations. There's a bunch of versions people have put up. Some are better quality than others. That's where he does the marketing bit. The marketing bit. Anybody here in marketing or advertising? Kill yourself. Oh, I know you think there's a joke coming around. No, I'm serious. Kill yourself. There's no rationalization for what you do. Oh, God, it's just such a fucking great bit. And then he goes into, you know what all the marketing, he goes into this dark thing. That's where I think the cold or cruel, or that's how it comes out. That line comes from that bit, I think. But then where he takes it into, and I know what all the marketing people are thinking. All the marketing dollars, and Bill's doing the oh shit, I'm too stoned and buzzed. Think of the bit. You got to watch it. Just fucking Bill Hicks, Revelations, YouTube. It might be on one of the streaming things. I don't know. Kill yourself. It's the only way to save your fucking soul. I don't care how you do it. Borrow a gun from a Yank friend. Shit. Borrow a gun from a Yank friend. Suck on a tailpipe. Just rid the world of your evil machinations. Anyway, just reading that, you can tell that you can see why many people said, you should play Bill. Just reading that, if you go watch, if you listen, go back, yeah, you know what I'm saying. This is why Bill quit drinking. While he pours another. Got an extra 15 minutes. We're going long. We're running the light, ladies and gentlemen. Don't get obnoxious, you cunt. Oh, sorry. If you take this, go back to the part where I read the Revelations close, the Just a Ride. Watch me read that. It's not dead on, especially not the beginning. I started to get into it as I went. It's been a long time. I just copied and pasted it because I know I've seen it many times, but I don't have that memorized like I have the Positive Drug Story, obviously. Jesus, Wayne. Us. And then watch Bill do it. And you'd be like, hey, he's definitely watched this a bunch of times. Proofages. There's proofages. It's online, like my dad would say, proofages. I don't think he ever really said that, but he definitely would have if I told him to. Oh, Bill, that's one. Oh, an American Bill Hicks story. That's one of the fun parts. They show a lot of Bill's early shit. They show not a lot, but some stuff when because he started fucking doing it when he would leave. He wasn't of age, and Kevin Booth had was it Kevin or Dwight? Fuck. Sorry, there's a lot of stuff. Some of it gets confused. I think it was Kevin. Had a license, and it was at a Winnebago or something. It's been a while. Bill would sneak out of the house, and he and Kevin would go, and Kevin would drive him to go do comedy in town, and he was a big fucking hit, and he was like 15 years old. And a lot of his bits were about his parents being dorks, and they show. You can see. I think you can see some of it online. Some of it may be on YouTube, but fucking hilarious. I'm like, wait, he's 15 years old? Holy shit. He was a huge hit as a young kid. And he used to sneak out to go do fucking comedy. Man, obviously he didn't have the internet, or Bill never would have been anything. He left the internet to me. Ask Mary. Mary's still alive, right? Mary's still alive. I wasn't joking when I say that there's been many times where I've talked about that Mary thing with her saying, nice to see you again. Whoa, that hit me hard. Not sexual way, totally spiritual, right? That's the word. What the hell was I looking up? Oh yeah. Why you got it on caps lock, you tard? I can say tard. I grew up next to a mental institution, and I believe that I was actually a patient, and they didn't tell me. I'm sure you think the same. Mary Hicks. Alleged witch? No. Oh, there it is. Third one down. Actress. Bill Hicks's mother. Actress? She ain't no actress. She's still alive, right? Yeah. I would know if she's dead. Why is there's no, it just says spouse Jim, children Bill. Why doesn't it have Steve there? That's not right. Or his sister. More about Mary Hicks. Let's go there. Let's go to Mary. Oh, and there it is right there. When you Google Mary Hicks, Bill Hicks' mom, you'll see the videos, the clips right there. 4 minutes, 3 minutes, 4 minutes, 6 minutes, and then hunt and kill Billy Ray Cyrus. Oh, yeah. Oh, shit, I had that in my notes. That's one of my favorites as well. I have a new television. I think that's in the Letterman. Yeah, that's in the Letterman thing. This is one of my last shows, because I have a new television show on CBS. It's called Let's Hunt and Kill Billy Ray Cyrus. It's not a talk show. No, it's what is it? It's a something. Anyway, we hunt and kill Billy Ray Cyrus. We chase that no-talent cracker asshole across the globe, catch him by his fruity little ponytail, and I stick a shotgun like a big black cock of death in his mouth, and boom! And we'll be back next year when we hunt and kill Michael Bolton. Oh, I'm so glad I remembered that. Didn't end the fucking podcast too soon. Stick a shotgun in his mouth like a big black cock of death. That's what inspired my Rick Dalton joke at the beginning of this whip. Oh, did I mention I like porn like Bill? No. Don't do that. That wouldn't be correct. Would it? I smoke. If this bothers anyone. I suggest you taking a look around the world in which we live and shutting your fucking mouth. What a great idea it was to do this podcast. Are we doing 145 or are we doing a dose? Where are we at? Shit. Mary's still alive, right? I haven't. Oh, yeah, 5 minutes. I think we can do 5 minutes. Then nobody's saying it, man. She must be still alive. Right? Mary Hicks, alive. Right? Oh, that's a different Mary Hicks. Holy shit. Said Mary Hicks died July 28th, 1716. Wrong lady. That's not Mary. That's not Mary. Mary must be still alive. Let's look at her IMDb. I know I'd know if Mary was gone. On IMDb, she's Mary Hicks the third. I'm William Roberts the second. Mama's still alive. She gotta be. I'd know it, because I'd remember my heart sinking if I knew that, and because I wouldn't forget. Oh, that was the other thing. Oh, Bill's bit on David. That was Bill. What got me started on realizing that maybe David Koresh wasn't the crazy fuck, that conspiracy theory shit. Maybe Koresh wasn't the fucking nut that they told us. And he was the one fucking in his bits talking about how it's right there on PBS, even though the regular news wasn't saying it. The fucking turrets, they're the ones that fucking blew him up. They're the ones that fucking started it. The fucking ATF and stuff. They did. But the story was told for a long time. But luckily, we've had some more documentaries. Bill was right. Bill and was it Kevin? And Bill actually went out there during that siege, or in that 40 something days or whatever it was in Waco. They went out there and recorded some stuff. It might be an American Bill Hicks story. I don't remember, but yeah, they went out there because he had a bit about his real name was Vernon. David Koresh, his born name Vernon. Can you believe his name was Vernon? I don't remember the rest of the bit. And I've only got 2.5 minutes left. So, oh shit, I didn't realize it had that thumbnail. They didn't have the thumbnail up. And what I wanted to do in the end was, like I said, Bill died February 7th. Oh, no, this is when they released this thing, but he died the 26th, 94, February. But in the 7th of 94, of February, they released. They didn't. They released it in early '90. I guess a year later. Fuck it. I'm not doing that. I'm not looking at the clock anymore. I can't, because I can't. I'm not gonna get this done. That's fine, because we're all right. It would have been cooler if he was 33 instead of 32 when he died. Because he was like a Jesus. He had a Mother Mary. She weren't no virgin. But she is awesome. I shook her fucking hand. Anyway. But on the 7th, a couple weeks before he died, he wrote this. I was born William Melvin Hicks on December 16th, 1961 in Valdosta, Georgia. Ugh. Melvin Hicks from Georgia. Yee-haw. I already had gotten off to life on the wrong foot. I was always awake, I guess you'd say. Some part of me clamoring for new insights and new ways to make the world a better place. All of this came out years down the line in my multitude of creative interests that are the tools I now bring to the party. Writing, acting, music, comedy. A deep love of literature and books. Thank God for all the artists who've helped me. I'd read these words and off I went, dreaming my own imaginative dreams. Exercising them at will, eventually to form bands, comedy, more bands, movies, anything creative. This is the coin of the realm I use in my words. Vision. On June 16th, 1993, I was diagnosed with having liver cancer that had spread from the pancreas. One of life's weirdest and worst jokes imaginable. I'd been making such progress recently in my attitude, my career, and realizing my dreams that it just stood me on my head for a while. Why me? I would cry out. And why now? Well, I know now. Oof, that's tough. Well, I know now there may never be any answers to those particular questions. But maybe in telling a little about myself, we can find some other answers to other questions. That might help our way down our own particular paths towards realizing my dream of new hope, Star Wars, and new happiness. Amen. I left in love, in laughter, and in truth, and wherever truth, love, and laughter abide, I am there in spirit. Boom! Always with a boom. And it's funny though, I put up put it back up here for a second. The pic that I made of Carlin, Hicks, and Stanhope. Because Stanhope for a long time has gotten, and he doesn't like it. He's always been like, what the fuck? I don't get it. The comparison to Bill. But it's not about his bits, and they're not the same. It's more the attitude and the constant smashing at the wall. Pink Floyd, Roger Waters, who's right now, some will hear and see this later on, but right now is going through this bullshit where assholes are pulling shit from his wall show where he does where Pink has gone nuts and has gone all fascist, which is in the movie. He's been doing it for 50 years. All these people are bringing it out and trying to say that he's doing something that's disgusting. It's theater. And then Michael Rappaport goes and fucking puts up this thing about what a piece of shit, and I wish I'd get my grandpa to whoop his ass. Like, you played a neo-Nazi before in a movie. It's a part of the show. It's not that he is one. He's condemning it. It's part of the whole story, and that's part of. He's been doing this. You fucking jerk off. Well, guess what? After Michael put that tweet up, he got lambasted, and then eventually, finally deleted the tweet. And I believe last I checked, he turned off his Twitter profile. Michael Rappaport, who I used to love, because True Romance is one of my favorite movies, and he plays Dick Ritchie. And that scene where he auditions for the new T.J. Hooker is very close to the reality of an audition situation. Although usually you don't sit down. Usually you're standing, and there's a camera and stuff. But that was the early days. It took place back in the day, but it's very close. And Conchetta from 2.5 Men plays the casting director. It's so fucking funny, and it's so realistic. But God, Rappaport turned into such a fucking dildo. He's so obnoxious. But as Dick Ritchie, he was fucking funny in that scene. Where the fuck did he come from? I don't know. He just appeared out of nowhere. Well, why don't you sit there? Shoot him. Thank you, Mr. Ritchie. You're a very fine actor. Thank you. Probably his best role. Why? Because I fucking said so. Anyway, you know what? There we go. 150. That'll be good, right? 150? 150, I say. I'm trying. if I could just fucking get to the close. Yeah, let's close this up because I gotta pee. So thank you, Bill. Watch James Corbett, Corbett Report, Jimmy Dore Show, Russell Brand, Kim Iverson, Revolutionary Blackout Network. But look for yourself. I'm just a fun babbling lecturer, dabbler. Remember, we're all Neo, a.k.a. One, says Bill. Sorry, ran long, had to bump comedian Jimmy Pineapple. Thanks, Gary. Daddy loves you. Messing with my peebles. That's right.